This episode of Train Time features Amtrak's Keystone line on the ex-Pennsylvania Railroad's main line between Philadelphia and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Parkesburg has about 3,500 residents. It was settled by people of Scottish and Irish descent before the American Revolutionary War. It is named for John Park, who was a politician from a prominent local family. Railroad tracks were laid in 1831 by the Philadelphia and Columbia Railroad. After some hard times, it was sold to the Pennsylvania Railroad 26 years later in 1857. Using the camera's telephoto lens makes the catenary for delivering electricity to the locomotives look like a spider's web. This Amtrak passenger train travels between New York City and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Parkesburg was the location of the first railroad shops, which were later moved to Altoona, Pennsylvania. The town of Christiana has about 1,100 residents and was incorporated in 1894. Christiana played an important part in the famous Underground Railroad, which moved freed slaves from the south to the north. It was in Christiana that the fugitive slave law was first tested. Many historians consider the Christiana resistance as the first battle of the Civil War. There are several elevated curves in the track through Gap, which made this location ideal for testing Amtrak's tilt train. Gap's first house was constructed in 1747. The town of Gap has about 1,600 residents. In its early years, Gap had copper mines and the first nickel mine in the United States. One of the attractions in this part of Pennsylvania is the Strasburg Railroad and Museum. The railroad gives hourly rides from Strasburg to Lehman Place and Paradise. Engine number 90 was built in 1924 by the Baldwin Locomotive Works in Philadelphia. The wheel arrangement on engine number 90 is 210-0. This engine was originally used by the Great Western Railroad to haul 40 to 50 carloads of sugar beets at a time to a large mill in Loveland, Colorado. A tender on these large steam engines typically has a capacity of 10,000 gallons of water. Strasburg was originally settled in 1693 by people of French descent, who established trade with the Delaware Indians. The train is ready to take riders for the next trip through the Pennsylvania Dutch countryside. Strasburg was established in 1693 and was named for Strasbourg in France, which was famous for a cathedral. It became a stagecoach stop between Philadelphia and Lancaster. In the 1700s, the Amish began to settle in Strasburg. The region prospered in the second half of the 1700s, which became known as the Golden Era. Heavy Conestoga wagon traffic and trade helped the town to grow. Tracks for the Strasburg Railroad were laid in 1832, and it is the oldest continually operating public utility in Pennsylvania. About halfway through the trip, the two trains meet at Groff's Grove, a passing siding near Cherry Hill. Passengers can get off at Groff's Grove and have a picnic, or participate in the activities at the Cherry Hill amusement area a short distance away. Engine number 475 is an ex-Norfolk and Western steam engine built in 1906 by the Baldwin Locomotive Works of Philadelphia. It is the only known 480 steam engine in North America. The special spring switch allows the engine to pass through the turnout without the need for the conductor to align the switch. Lehman Place became famous when President Abraham Lincoln made a 4-minute stop there on February 22, 1861, on his way to Washington, D.C. for his presidential inauguration. The Strasburg Railroad bought its first passenger car at that time in order to transport people to the event. It was estimated that 5,000 people came out to cheer for the President and Mrs. Lincoln. In 1968, presidential candidate Hubert H. Humphrey spoke at the same place. Amtrak's Pennsylvanian toots as it passes the Strasburg steam engine. It is interesting to contrast the new Amtrak passenger train with a vintage steam train of the early 1900s. All the passenger cars on this train are ex-Boston and Maine coaches. Early trains in Gordonville were wagons pulled by horses which walked between the rails. On April 17, 1834, the first long-distance steam train ran through Gordonville. It was on its journey from Lancaster to Philadelphia. It took 8.5 hours to complete the trip. The rail line through Gordonville was electrified in 1938. We catch Amtrak's Pennsylvanian again at this crossing. We hope you have enjoyed our short train journey through this historic part of Pennsylvania. Thank you for coming along for the ride.